Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Pete, and on this episode we are back on the Halifax High Line. I've covered this line in depth. There is a series of videos on the channel, so you should go back and have a look at those. But the reason why I'm back here today is because of the Wheatley tunnel. It is open. I'm not here alone. I'm here with Ashton from
Exploring the Past and the Present. Hello guys.
There you go. But what I wanted to do before I go up there is to show you the Wheatley viaduct, because this has had some renovation work done. Over £1 million spent on it. Originally this had a big steel sheet over it and there were some trees growing up here and you could climb and get on it. But the idea was to devegetation it, or deforest it if you will, and that is clearly what they've done, as well as do some pointing up work, replace some stone work, and I believe the project took nearly a year to do. When I was filming the line they were working on it and I did seek permission to come on board, but they wouldn't let me get permission to come on here, so this is the best we can do. We can't get through this fence. But what I will show you is it's got 10 arches. This line opened in 1890. It was mainly a goods line. It did run passengers, but that passenger service stopped in 1917. That's how old this railway is. This area has been cleared, as you can see, because this was access to the viaduct while they were renovating it. There were two major engineering challenges on this line, one being the viaduct and the other just being about 100 yards up there, and that's where we're going to go. So when they've come up here and disturbed this to get all the stone onto that viaduct and take away all the vegetation, they've disturbed the land. Look at what we've got. You know what that's from, don't you? A firebox, clinker, and then a lot of old coke and coal, what they used to build the railway lines up with. We're going to continue on up to the tunnel. Exciting times. Now, I never thought I would cover the Halifax High Line until I started looking into it, and I found it really quite interesting. And I was disappointed that I couldn't get into the tunnel at the time. So I've kept my eye on it. And then I found out it's open. So that's why we're here today. We've got here rapid. It was only 2 days ago I found out it was open, because I expected another 2 days it'll be closed. Very distinctive tunnel. I'm just going to show you the approach to it. So here we are. We're only about 100 yards away from the viaduct, just down there. We've got a retaining wall here and there, and we've got one at this side, and then we've got this huge blue brick retaining wall here. I'm so glad I've got the opportunity to share this moment with you coming back into this tunnel. You can see the entrance there. Let's go and have a look. So I've just had to turn the camera back on. Ashton's already up there, because you can see how long this line has been closed. It closed in 1960, I think it was. The tree that's growing here, and the decay and the moss and the ferns growing out the walls, it's just absolutely magnificent. I'm going to put a load of photographs up at the end of this, and we can see our retaining wall here with our copings along the top. We can see the huge arch there. No particularly fancy keystone, just a larger one. And then we've got our plinth wall up there as well. There's no way you can walk down onto that, because these bankments here are just so steep and so dangerous. I'm just going to walk you through with me into the tunnel entrance as we go. Like I said, a long time coming. This is quite a moment for me. Wow. And look at that. I can hear water dripping. And it is just absolutely pitch black. That is as night as we can go. At some point when I'm up there, I will turn the camera on and have all the lights off so you can just see how black these are inside. I'm going to get set up with my torch and we'll go for a walk in Wheatley Tunnel, all 819 yards. And there's a surprise at the end. I'm walking into the tunnel now, it's really quite special. There's a refuge just 20 metres in. I'll show you this one, I'm not going to show you them all. Excellent condition. Got two course lining it. It's got a concaved back and we can't see the bottom. Now it'll be interesting to see if we can see a bottom of any of these further along, because I wonder if they are also arched. Now it is raining from the ceiling almost everywhere, it's very wet, but the ground is pretty dry. And here we have another refuge, and the ceiling is just black with soot. I mean, it's in remarkable condition really. I mean, the wall here, I'm going to walk you over to it, because this is just layers of soot. That's all it is. And we've got engineering marks here where it's getting checked. That's interesting. There might be a filled in refuge or two here. Yeah. I wonder why. It's been repaired as that one, so it looks like there's been a collapse. And then we've got one here. This looks like the wall's bowing. I'm not certain. I thought the wall was maybe bowing, but these refuges again have been bricked up. And another one there, bricked up. It looks like they're all bricked up. I'm going to walk up this tunnel. We've got one ventilation shaft to pass, and as I walk up I'm going to give you a little bit more information about this tunnel. So I've now changed my torch. I'm hoping you can see the almost rain coming from the ceiling. It is just absolutely drenched up there. It's all coming through the hills above. Now it looks like in that ceiling it's almost dipping down in the centre. You probably can't see that on the camera, but it doesn't look as though it's a perfect arch anymore. Almost like the integrity of the bricks are going. There is mist in the ceiling up there, and we're going to continue on because it is a long railway tunnel. I'm just being rained on now. So there are parts of this tunnel that are just really dry where there is no water coming through, or next to nothing. Back there it was like it was raining. We're not far in the tunnel. You can probably see the entrance there still, but I've got something on the wall here that I want to show you. It looks like a signal pulley. And there we are. Again, with all these railways, they were closed so long ago, and it's the decay that's in here, but this is definitely a signal pulley. Look at that. Now there's a good chance that that is related to the brewery. I think it was I can't remember, was it Tetley's brewery, was it? No, Webster's, that was it. Webster's brewery. I think it's related to that was just before the viaduct. But we're going to continue on down here. There are a number of the refuges that are sealed up. There are some of them are in brilliant condition, like this one here. And then we've got meter markers there. And more engineering signs here. Again, this wall looks to be bowed a bit in places. And it's over 100 years old, you know. Imagine one of these tower blocks being 100 years old that they're building today. The facades don't seem to last more than 30 years and they're having to replace them. But again, that's probably just because they're losing their integrity here now, because they're not used. There's no drainage anymore. We're going to continue on. As you can see, it's starting to get a bit misty in here. We'll continue on into the darkness. So we came across one of these earlier and it was absolutely destroyed, and we didn't think they were railway era because they look a bit modern, but actually now we've seen another one and we can see that it's covering a water flow under there. It's for the railway. We've still got a lot of ballast down in here. It's very wet. The ceiling, I mean, I don't suppose you can see that as well as what I can, but it is absolutely just dripping. It's like it's raining. I want to try and show you it. There's also a mist starting to appear. I'm just going to change my torch. Not too far into the tunnel we've come across where telegraph wires once hung with the insulators round there. Now we're not far from the entrance. I'll point you back towards the entrance. You can probably see that speck of light at the end there. And if I go back to this wall, we can see how much soot is still on there. Look at that. And then with that insulator there, what a magnificent picture that is. So Ashton looked at the ground and this is what he found. Aside from my shadow, there are remains of the insulators down there. Now they are put on cast iron and not wood, and they're fixed to the wall and not inserted in the wall. We're going to continue down. We've got another 700 yards to go yet. Now as we keep going down, there's loads of refuges in this that are still in good condition. There's one there, but down on the floor here we've got a bolt just in there. But what I do want to show you is how clean this floor is. Now I'm not convinced that this is ballast. I think this is here so that people come down here in vehicles to do measuring and checking that these walls are safe. And it is definitely more insulators here. I'm going to put loads of pictures up at the end because I can't possibly film it all for you. We'll just have a quick look on the floor, and we do have the remains down there. We're going to continue on and we're going to get to the end of this tunnel because there's something quite unusual about this one. With more of these being filled in, the refuges, I've noticed a brick on the floor here and we can see it's got a maker on it. I have rubbed it off a little bit with my foot, so you can see that there is a Craven brick here. Is that a local brick, do you know? I might have a quick Google when I get home and pop that on screen if I do. But it's remarkably dry now, but the ceiling is just covered in soot. It's just quite bizarre. So you've got Ashton up there in front of me now, and we'll catch up with him. And another refuge there that's been blocked up. We are almost at the end now. 819 yards, built in 1890. When the line was opened in 1890, this had 2 lines, and it was very busy going to Pelham and St Paul's Station, neither of which exist today, both demolished, but there are traces of those, and you'll be able to see those in my Halifax High Line video series. As we approach the end, we can see on the ground here tyre tracks, loads of footprints, and this is for maintenance of the tunnel. Now almost right at the end, we're still getting refuges. We are now at the other end of the tunnel. That little speck of light there is what you can see as our way in. I did promise you I'd show you how dark it was. So I'm going to turn round and I'm going to look at Ashton right in his face. Well, I thought I was. That's Ashton. It's so dark. That's his little phone or something he's got in his hand. But we're going to go round Ashton with a light on, and I'm going to show you the floor now because it is muddy. We're approaching the end. I'm probably 50 feet away. So with the amount of mud that we've got here, you can probably guess what is going on. We've got a refuge there. That one has got quite a bit of brickwork blasting away from it. I don't want to walk across there because I don't know how deep that is, but I do know there are a lot of footprints here. Now this end of the tunnel would go straight into the Wheatley cut-in, which had the next stop of a road bridge, and then there was a footbridge, and then we'd go over to Shale Lane. This is just deep now, but I can see we've got some solid base here coming up there, so I'm on it. This is part of the infill that remains here now today, and the wall has got little yellow reflectors on there. That'll be to identify to the vehicles that come down here for maintenance. This is rock hard concrete, and that looks like some sort of crazy old fridge that's been dumped down here. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it does smell a bit sulphury at this end. But there you go, this is our portal. This is the eastern side. And if you look, you can see it's all bricked up there. We can actually see the arch. So that's the face right there on the edge of these big sandstones. You can just see water dripping in here, and it's like that everywhere in this tunnel except for the odd dry patch. And if we look down on the floor, we're full of rubble here, and oh look, we've got some ladders. I knew this was here because I couldn't find the top of this. Now straight in front of me through that wall would have been the Wheatley cutting. That is 60 to 80 feet deep, but it's all been infilled and it's actually been built on. But directly above me is a grass field. And if you're feeling up to it, you could climb all the way up there to that manhole cover, and you can come down here if the gateway is locked. Absolutely brilliant. What a pleasure to come down here. I'm going to put a load of photographs up for you now. Please enjoy those. That was a bit of an ambition for me, to be quite honest with you. Outside the portal, actually having been into the tunnel, right to the end, all 118 yards. Yes, the other end has been filled in. Quite a sight, that manhole. I would have liked to have gone up there, but we are actually a bit pushed for time today. It will be very unlikely that I will ever come back to this tunnel. I imagine it will be sealed up fairly fast. But it's been a pleasure, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as what I have. There are a couple of links in the description down below. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, the best thing you can do for me is subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're feeling up to it, please buy me a coffee. I'm also doing a GoFundMe because I'm trying to buy some more expensive camera equipment so that we can go to some more exciting places that are a bit wetter and a bit darker and a bit more dangerous than what these things are. So in the meantime, please take care, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.